Hello, and thank you for joining today. My name is Wes Dillingham. I'm the Vice President of Customer Success for 4Me Group. We have a CRM, Customer Relationship Management tool, sales to sales management tool called the Lead Tool. Today's topic is not getting the results you expected from your CRM. Here's why. And as I dug into this topic more, and realized how complicated and in-depth you can go, I decided to break this into multiple parts. So part 2 of this webinar will be next week, next Tuesday. So if you want to join in, and for those who joined today and experienced the technical difficulties that we had, I apologize and hope the recording makes up for that. But I am going to be talking about the 3 phases of introducing a CRM to your company and focusing most of today on phase 1, and then we'll cover phase 2 and 3 next week. That way we can get a little more in depth. And then there are a couple of other follow-up topics that I can do as well if people are interested in hearing more, as well as I can write a blog post that we'll cover some of those topics as well. So I'll provide my contact info at the end, and you can reach out to me, let me know if you have any questions or have any interest in more topics, more webinars, blog posts, whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. Not getting the results you expected from your CRM, here's why. So why do so many companies struggle to get the results they expect when they introduce a CRM to their company? On the surface, it seems pretty cut and dry, right? You want to improve your sales, so it makes pretty good sense to implement a centralized system where prospect and customer information is easily entered and is accessible to everyone in the company who needs access, and that generates reports which provide valuable data about the business. Seems easy enough, right? Well, it turns out that it just isn't that simple. I equate it to someone who wants to lose weight, so they subscribe to a crash diet or the latest diet fad. If it's anything like most diet programs, it's focused on counting calorie intake and other behaviors mostly related to food. And something like that seems very simple on the surface, but the fact remains that 95% of diets fail. Turns out there's no true replacement for a healthy lifestyle. A holistic approach to your weight, and more importantly your health, is always better than trying the latest diet trend or any type of shortcut. And the same goes for a CRM. A CRM and everything that goes with a CRM is a complete paradigm shift. It's a culture change to your company. And I propose that when it's not addressed this way, when it's not addressed as a paradigm shift, it's doomed for failure, or at least for poor results. In this webinar, I'm going to discuss several reasons why companies do not get the results that they expect from their CRM, and what they need to do to correct that. So first, let's establish a few things so we are all on the same page, so we're talking apples to apples, or comparing apples to apples. I'm going to establish what a CRM is and why companies use them. So according to Wikipedia, customer relationship management, or a CRM, is an approach to managing a company's interaction with current and potential customers. It uses data analysis about customers' history with the company and to improve business relationships with customers, specifically focusing on customer retention and ultimately driving sales growth. And why do companies use them? So CRM is meant to be the central nervous system of your company, especially as it relates to managing your customer's experience. So sales, service, and marketing are at the center of a CRM typically, but it can impact and provide valuable information for finance, accounting, HR, purchasing, and many, many other departments. The following chart gives you some indication of what top executives see a CRM, see the use cases for most CRMs. So number one, contact management, 94%, lead nurturing, email marketing, sales forecasting, and so on. The different use cases that top executives are using CRMs for. And then the expected results, what they expect to get out of their CRM. They expect improved customer service, 74%, improved customer satisfaction, improved customer retention, and increased sales, generate new business. So all things related to sales, customers, marketing, and whatnot. And all results that you should expect. So you can see companies are looking for a CRM to help them manage their customers' experience, the customer journey with their business. And we'll discuss this further in a few minutes. So we've established what a CRM is and why companies implement them. Now let's take a look at why they fail or don't quite meet the expectations for many businesses. There are basically 3 phases to introducing a CRM, or really any software to a business. The first phase, discovery. Discovery results in the purchase of a software solution, and it also establishes much of the preparation for implementation, including who it will impact and how success will be determined, or how you'll know if it's successful or not. The second phase, and we're going to cover phase 1 today and focus on phase 2 and 3 next week. So phase 2 is implementation. This includes customizing the software so that it fits your workflow or your sales process, introducing the software to the company / the communication piece, training, and anything else related to getting your team ready and up and running on the program. And then finally, phase 3 is support and follow-up. And really, this is related to anything post-implementation. Troubleshooting, tweaking processes, tweaking the software setup, and additional training, etc. The first 2 are the most critical to the success of your software implementation. And most people tend to focus on specifically training and post-training, or phase 3. In other words, after everything has been introduced and everyone is trained, most companies hope for the best and react to whatever issues come up, instead of really taking a proactive approach and having ongoing discussion about the change which has been implemented. And again, we'll get into phase 3 a little bit more, but I just want you to think in terms of have a plan for every phase. In his book, ROI from CRM, Brian Gardner says when companies go looking for process improvements, they often throw money at technology with the hope it will do the job. But it's critical to first understand the processes behind the need to change. And I call that understanding the why. So phase 1, again, discovery. We're trying to find the best CRM to meet our company. It's very important. But in order to do this, you need to understand why you need a CRM. You also need to know who specifically it's going to impact. And finally, you need to understand how you're going to know if it's successful or not. And that's what we're going to cover in this webinar today. I personally think these are 3 of the most vital reasons CRM implementations fail. There's much more to this phase, but let's focus on these 3 very critical mistakes many companies make. So first, why you need one. Many companies make a quick decision about needing a CRM because they are in style, the fastest growing enterprise software in the world. They hear a competitor might be implementing one, or they learn about them at a meeting or a trade show, and they come back and say, we need a CRM, let's go buy one. And they skip the critical phase of due diligence. So these are good reasons, those are all good reasons to buy one, but you don't really fully understand or recognize the business problem that a CRM is going to solve for your business. So and a lot of the time, as executives and managers peel back the layers of their business to understand why, they realize how big an undertaking this is going to be and how complicated it might be, as well as it exposes some struggle, some weakness, and many executives are afraid to openly reveal that to the entire company or to their sales team. But don't let the details and the undertaking deter you from doing a thorough due diligence. Use this as an opportunity to completely reevaluate what your customers experience every step of the way for the life of the relationship you have with them. If you've never done this, it's way overdue, and I guarantee you're leaving money on the table and losing customers at some point, some phase in your sales process. So we're in an era of the consumer. We're in the era of the consumer. The customer has more power through information, more choices, and easier ways to consume than ever before. Consumer expectations are driven by not only some of your competitors who are leading them down the simplest path to purchase, but the consumer's expectations are not necessarily even industry specific. In other words, the easiest shopping experience they have ever had now becomes the standard by which all of their purchase experiences are judged. Let me read that again. In other words, the easiest shopping experience they have ever had now becomes the standard by which all of their purchase experiences are judged. So they're comparing every shopping experience to their best. And we all know they'll provide feedback on Facebook, Twitter, Yelp, Google, among other platforms. So reevaluating everything related to your customers, how they shop, why they walk in the door, why they don't buy, how often to contact them, and so on, is only going to reveal untapped opportunities for your company. This is also going to reveal the specifics about why you need a CRM, how to customize it to fit your processes, and as well as provide much needed scripting, mapping you can use to guide your sales, service, and marketing teams when they're using the CRM. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but this slide is a cute way to illustrate the customer journey or sales process. Take a look. You can see it follows the life of the prospect to client and beyond. It illustrates each stage they travel through, when they need to be contacted by someone, and what other actions need to be taken and by who. So again, this is a map that shows every touch point your customer has with your company. It doesn't get into a lot of detail, but the point is to not only script when your salespeople need to go into the CRM and use the CRM and what they need to be using it for, what information they're entering, what follow-ups, what action items. But you also want to have a script to help guide them on when to use it, what to say, when to send out marketing pieces, what to do when a customer asks X or needs Y or whatever it is. The more detail, the more mapping you can do, the less deviation your salespeople are going to go or are going to leave that map, and that creates more consistency and a better overall customer experience. So building a detailed customer journey will create consistency in how your entire team handles customers, and increases the likelihood that each person knows when to act and what action to take, and if you add scripts, what to say, as well as what marketing pieces to send. As each and every prospect and customer is entered and tracked into your CRM, you will only be gathering more priceless data to further refine your sales process, evaluate areas of weakness, and gain valuable intel into other areas of your business. So that's the first one, a script, a map, customer journey. The second big mistake during phase one is not including the right people in the decision-making and discovery process. A lot of times, all the decisions and discovery are done by a high-level committee of executives, board members, or management team, but not the actual people who are going to be asked to use the system and who are on the front lines every day. I've worked for numerous corporations where this was the case, where a software program, a marketing strategy, a sales strategy was delivered to the front-end employees, the frontline employees, only to be completely and totally ripped to pieces and holes shot in, because the frontline employees know what the customers are going to respond to, how they're going to respond, and they know the front lines better than anybody. And there's nothing more alienating to a frontline group of employees than executives who are coming to tell them how to do their job when the executives are far enough removed that they don't really understand the business at that level anymore. It's not to say that the executives don't know what they're doing. It's just to say, use your frontline employees to get the best information possible, to understand what the best CRM that will work for you, what processes are going to work, how to create that customer journey, and it's an automatic way to create buy-in. So the sooner your frontline employees are on board, the better, and the more involved they are in the process from the beginning, the more ownership they will take in getting results. I know this can add layers which complicate the decision-making and discovery process, but find a balance of including representation from each impacted department, especially if it doesn't make sense to include everyone. If you can include your entire sales staff, I would. Who you choose will make a difference. So watch out for company politics or employees who do not have the respect of their peers. This is also a critical time, and I'm going to deviate slightly from the script here, but this is also a critical time to evaluate who will be your point person during phase two, the implementation phase. I'll speak to this in next week's webinar, but this person is the most important part of phase two, even more important than your training. And if you can use a committee, if you can have 3 or 4 people, especially somebody that's super high up, and then meets at different levels in the different departments that are going to be impacted, a committee is a great way to help manage the implementation. So finally, the last piece of phase one that we're going to discuss today is how will you know if your CRM implementation is a success or not? You have to have objective metrics to determine if it has been successful. You can't rely on your gut. And the number one mistake most people make in measuring the success of their CRM is user engagement. User engagement can reflect numerous things, including poor implementation, poor due diligence, poor training. So there's numerous things that user engagement can tell you, and it doesn't quite tell you exactly which one it was, and it definitely doesn't necessarily tell you for sure that the CRM is a failure or not. Determining the success of a CRM implementation based on user engagement is a very common mistake. First and foremost, it should be a requirement that everybody use it. It shouldn't be an option. And it really comes down to, if people aren't using it, it comes down to a lack of accountability. Poor user engagement may be due to numerous reasons, like I said before, some of which may have very little to do with the users. Having users or representatives from this group involved in the discovery and implementation phase will help alleviate rebellion against the new software program. But again, preparation and due diligence will set you up for success as it relates to user engagement. So back to the metrics and determining success. You need to know your numbers and those metrics which matter most to your business. You may even discover new metrics which you've never used before. Some common metrics companies use to determine success or failure of a CRM are as follows. Closing rate. The number of people who walk through the door, or the number of people contacted versus closed, or the number of people quoted versus closed sales. You might use all of those, close rate, or one or several. But I do think it's really important to use to keep track of every person that walks through the door of your company, your store, every person that's contacted. You want to know why people are either not followed up with, or why people didn't buy from you, why people, you want to know every single step of the journey, even if the result was not a sale. So again, you need to know your numbers. You want to measure, you want to compare how each individual did prior to the CRM versus with the CRM. You're going to start to see some people have more success, and you're going to want to glean information from them on why, what's working, why is it working, what are they doing in the CRM other than what's been prescribed, so that you can provide best practices to everybody. And everybody's using the CRM the same way as those people who are seeing success. But you want to compare how they did without it and how they're doing with it. Obviously, overall sales revenue or sales numbers that you use, other metrics, number of requests for quotes, number of prospects in the pipeline, revenue potential in the pipeline, close rate by channel. So you're measuring walk-ins versus web leads versus outbound calls versus builder referrals or agent referrals. Whatever it may be, you want to measure each channel, because some channels may have more success as it relates to the CRM in incubating leads from those channels. It also helps you keep track of where your business is coming from, and that's a big way to determine ROI. And then you also want to enter customers into various drip campaigns, marketing campaigns. Maybe for your closed customers, you want to put them on your newsletter and drip on them monthly, quarterly, just so you keep them top of mind. Maybe people who no longer or didn't buy from you, you want to send a marketing piece periodically, letting them know something relevant to what they came into the store for. But you want there needs to be an action and metrics for every single spot along the customer journey. So with that, you want to set SMART goals, and I use the SMART goals formula. It basically means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and restricted to a specific time frame. So you'll want to keep a very close eye on the key metrics as you implement and throughout the implementation. You want to give these goals a reasonable time frame. Setting measurable goals for your CRM is crucial to knowing if it's helping or not. This takes us back to the beginning of the webinar, our comparison of someone starting a crash diet when they want to lose weight. If you don't have SMART goals, you don't know if the diet is working. But ultimately, make sure you're measuring what is truly important to your business, or what is truly important to you as far as health, if you're talking about a diet, and why you ultimately implemented the CRM. Same thing as measuring your weight loss as a function of health. It's one way to measure health, but not a complete, true analysis of one's personal health, which is what most people really want from a diet typically. So with that, I'm gonna just add one last comment to this phase one of introducing software or a CRM program to your company, and I just want to fill out a few other ROI options or ROI ways to get an ROI from your CRM that I don't typically see. So I mentioned it before: tracking your advertising spend or what's generating business, and reallocating your marketing dollars towards those things that are actually driving business. Post-sale customer behavior. So I hear this a lot in the industry. There's not a lot of follow-up once installation occurs or once the sale is made. And that's where you really control the customer satisfaction. Number one, are you contacting them to find out if they're satisfied? Maybe sending them a survey. Also, are you asking for referrals? If they're a satisfied customer, you want them to refer you business. That's a great way to gain new business and receive an ROI from your CRM. And then finally, one of the latest issues that we're seeing from companies is online reviews. They're not controlling their online reviews and asking their customers to go to Yelp, go to Google, write a review, or write a review for your website, that kind of thing. Another way to get ROI is you're able to analyze sales behavior and customer service behavior as well as the customer behavior, and you're able to use that to coach your salespeople to close more business. So use it as a coaching tool as well as onboarding new staff and salespeople. It'll make onboarding and training quicker, which will result in more thorough and will result in more closed deals quicker for that new salesperson. So with that, I'm going to conclude today. I appreciate everybody joining. You can always contact me at my email address here. You can find out more about us on Facebook or www.theleadtool.com. Check out our blog posts. There's tons of great information about running your business there. And next week, I'm going to cover phase 2 and 3, implementation, and then support and follow-up. And we'll dig into that a little bit. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate everybody taking the time today. Have a great rest of your day and week.